James won't find me this time, he thought. Thomas was having fun. Thomas found another good place to hide. James will never find me here, he hooted happily. But then he heard James's whistle again. Bust my buffers, chuffed Thomas. He's found me again. So Thomas puffed off. Thomas had reversed behind some freight cars. James will never find me here, he tooted cheerily. But just then, he saw James come around the bend. Thomas, puffed James. He was very cross. You've left a trail of flour all over the wharf. Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. I must have biffed the car so hard that the door came loose. Thomas didn't feel cheery anymore. If I've lost all the flour, there'll be no cakes and bread for the children's harvest festival supper, he wished sadly. I'm sorry, James, he chuffed. I'll get you another car of flour. Then you won't be late for the children. Thomas raced away. Thomas puffed and he huffed. He wheeshed and he whooshed. He had to get to the mill as fast as he could. Then there was trouble. When Thomas arrived at the mill, it was closed. Thomas looked around. He could only see empty flour cars. Thomas felt sadder than ever. Dusty Dave, the miller, came to see Thomas. He could see that Thomas was very upset. I'm going home for my supper now, he told Thomas, but there's one full flour car right at the back. Thomas saw the flour car, but there were lots of other cars in the way. He needed help. Thomas whooshed back to the wharf. He would have to ask James to help him. James was waiting. He was still very cross. Thomas pulled up alongside him. James, I know you tried to tell me about the flour, and I know I was silly, but now I need your help. James knew that Thomas was sorry, and he knew Thomas needed his help. So they set off for the mill. James and Thomas worked hard. There were lots of freight cars to shunt. But they worked well together, and soon the flour car was coupled up to James. And he raced off. Thomas felt proud of his friend. Later that evening, Sir Topham Hatt stood by a table of wonderful breads and cakes. The children were very excited. Thomas puffed by on his way home. Well done, James, he tooted. And James tooted back. Thomas was pleased James was his friend again. And Thomas smiled all the way back to Tidmouth Sheds. Toby's afternoon off. The engines of Sodor are very friendly. And no one is more friendly than Toby. Toby is a happy, smiling steam tramp with lots of friends. There's Mavis at the quarry, Salty at the docks, and Thomas. They're all Toby's friends. One day, Toby had finished all his jobs early. He was going to spend the afternoon at the farm. Toby loved visiting the animals. As he was about to leave, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. Toby, he said, I have 3 special jobs.
As you have finished early, you will have time to do all of them.
Yes, sir, puffed Toby. But Toby was worried. He liked being useful, but 3 jobs would take him the rest of the day. Now he would have no time to go to the farm. Toby puffed off. He felt sad. But then he had an idea. Perhaps he could get everything done in time. All I need is some help with just one of my jobs. I'll ask one of my friends. Toby's first job was to shunt some freight cars at the yards. As he arrived, he saw Mavis. Mavis will help me, he thought. Sorry, Toby, no time to talk, Mavis puffed as she steamed past him. Toby was upset. He had been sure Mavis would help him. I'll just have to shunt the freight cars on my own, he puffed sadly. Next, Toby had to collect some empty freight cars from the depot. As he arrived, Thomas was leaving. Thomas, called Toby, wait! Will you help me take some freight cars? Asked Toby. Sorry, Toby, chuffed Thomas. I'm in a hurry. I'll help you later. And Thomas raced away. Toby was surprised. Mavis and Thomas had both rushed off very quickly. Now he would have to take the freight cars to the coaling plant himself. It was getting late.